Not great. And while most were complete bunk, some patent medicines did in fact deliver on their advertised promises, albeit way of dangerous ingredients. For example, medicines advertised as infant soothers contained opium.
Oh, fuck.
Which at the time was a legal drug.
Yeah, but with the
right
hindsight of history.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
then
fuck.
you ran into laudanum babies or opium babies who...
God.
Women were working, and so they'd come home and they'd have to deal with the babies, and the baby would be fussy and they'd be exhausted. They'd give them a couple drops of this miracle baby soother. Suddenly baby is quiet. Baby remains quiet. Baby does not develop properly because baby is being fed
Toxins,
a steady supply
basically.
of heroin on the regular.
Okay.
Those advertised as Carter snuff contained cocaine, which, can you guess it, also legal at the time.
At the time, yep, okay.
Various medicines advertised herbs as magical active ingredients, talked up by those trying to make a sale, but the actual effects came from procaine extracts, which is also Novocaine, or grain alcohol.
Okay. Brief aside.
Uh-huh.
Like, how fucked up are all these other ingredients that you say cocaine and I'm like, oh, okay, just that.
Oh, it's just fine.
Just cocaine.
It's just cocaine.
Like, that's...
Okay. It's not radium or uranium
Right?
or plutonium number 7 or... I don't know if there is a plutonium number 7.
I have no idea,
but I'm sure
the
it
point
is
is
the
made.
7th worst plutonium. The bigger the number, the more cancer you get. I don't know.
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
But at least those containing opiates were effective in relieving pain, coughs, and diarrhea, except for that pesky little side effect of being highly addictive.
Which is going to be a whole other set of problems it causes.
And this was known at the time. It was so well known that many were advertised as causing none of the effects of opium. Like, this medicine doesn't do any of the things that opium does to you, except many of those products still contained opium anyways.
They just managed to somehow combat the side effects, or they just lied
They
out
just
of it?
lied out of it, because
Okay.
you didn't have to put what was in it. So you
Gotcha.
could say, this won't do to you what opium does to you, except for it's just a lower grade of opium, still opium.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have to put the ingredients in. So sneaky, Mr. Snailsman.
Oh, God.
Snailsman? Salesman.
Nope, snailsman.
Snailsman.
It's a snailsman.
He's a slow-moving snailsman. He's got loads of cocaine in his shell to dole out to those as needed. You got some fussy babies? Here's some opium. Are you too tired? Here's some cocaine. Do you want to be shiny? Here's some radium all in my shell. And he was probably an enormous snail because that's what radium does.
Oh, really?
No, I have no idea.
Oh.
But, I mean...
I was going to believe you.
I mean...
I was ready. I'm like, oh, okay.
Wasn't Godzilla created because of nuclear waste or something? Like,
Well,
what
I
do you
mean,
think it would do to a snail?
You see a lot of that in comics. I thought it was just BS, but I was ready to believe
Well,
you.
no,
Okay.
You know, the snailsman
Just
ran
move on.
across some patent medicine of radium water, ballooned up, got himself a handlebar mustache, a nifty little bowler cap, and just started peddling his wares. I'm
ready.
sure he used some of his own slime in there, because
Yeah.
he didn't have to say what was in it.
Yeah.
Gross, Mr. Snailsman. How dare you. So until the 20th century, alcohol was the most controversial ingredient because it was about Prohibition time.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, alcohol, no alcohol. Let's take this opium and cocaine and radium instead, but don't give us the alcohol.
What a lack of perspective.
Yeah, but still, those medicines could be sold due to their curative properties, because again, they didn't list what was in them.
Yeah.
So even in Prohibition states and countries, you couldn't get a bottle of whiskey, but you could get a bottle of Mr. Snailsman's cure-all tonic that was wood grain alcohol, which is straight up poison.
Yeah. Good.
But, you know, and several of these medicines were actually liqueurs of sorts. So basically they were just fancy liqueurs that were infused with various herbs said to have these medicinal properties. And so I do have a couple of examples of these liqueurs. One was Cannabis Indica.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a low-growing variant of cannabis with a high level of THC.
Okay.
So people were going bananas.
I bet they were.
There was Peruna, which was a famous prohibition tonic, weighing in at around 18% grain alcohol.
Jesus!
Yeah, so alcohol is evil. Don't do that. Have some of this prohibition tonic Peruna and get 18% grain alcohol.
Because that's better.
Another nostrum was known as Jamaican Ginger, and it was ordered to change its formula by prohibition officials. So they were like, hey, this is straight up alcohol. So to get around that, they added a toxic chemical called tricycle phosphate, and that was a compound that produced a organophosphate-induced delayed neuropathy.
Oh!
So basically, a chronic nerve damage syndrome that is also caused by certain nerve agents. So to get around the alcohol, they went ahead and added like straight up biochemical warfare just to fool the censors. Oh, it's not alcohol. It's just death in a bottle.
No big deal.
And so it got so bad that unwary imbibers suffered a form of paralysis that came to be known as Jake leg.
Jake leg?
Jake leg. Oh, I got the old Jake leg from that bottle of Jamaican Ginger.
Oh, Jake is in Jamaican.
I think.
Okay.
I'm assuming. There was Clark Stanley, the rattlesnake king. He produced Stanley's snake oil.
There it is.
There it is. Publicly processing rattlesnakes at the World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago. His topical tincture, when seized and tested by federal government in 1917, was found to contain mineral oil, 1% fatty oil, red pepper, turpentine, and camphor. So that's not too unlike modern capsaicin and camphor creams.
Yeah.
So like the icy hot of its day, but no snake oil.
Okay.
But you think of a snake, you think of the venom. So if you put this stuff on you and you suddenly start burning, oh, hey, it's working.
Oh. Maybe
No.
that's what it was supposed to be. Maybe snake oil was supposed to be venom.
Maybe, I don't know. They never really specified, other than he was supposedly processing publicly these rattlesnakes. I don't know, like, I'm imagining the poor snakes being thrown under a millstone and like, grindy. Or maybe he was just like chucking them at a wall and hoping the venom stuck and then scraping the I don't know. I have so many mental images and none of them are good.
Oh.
Not good.
And what's worse, okay, oh, that's bad. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But what's worse about that is because it was for what? It wasn't even real.
They weren't even using it. No, it was completely for show. So these poor snakes were being tortured in some ungodly fashion in the public so he could be like, this is how I get my super secret snake oil that's actually mineral oil and red pepper flakes.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. And obviously we know famously the original formation of Coca-Cola used coca leaves, an indirect source of cocaine, and it was marketed as an energy rejuvenator. Although, unlike most patent medicines of the era, it did not contain alcohol. Just cocaine.
Only cocaine.
Only cocaine. You don't get the alcohol with the cocaine, you only get the cocaine.
Gotcha.
Which some days when you're really tired, you look at a Coke and you're like, you are not doing it for me. I kind of wish there was still some cocaine in it. Just a little bit so I could get through this meeting.
You're not carrying me like I need you to.
Yeah, no. But probably not. We don't actually want that to happen.
No, caffeine addiction is a bit of a beast, but come on.
Cocaine addiction is much worse.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're addicted to Coke? Literally Coke. Oh, why are you snorting that out of a bottle? Stop that! That's bad for your sinuses. But some herbal...
Oh, that would burn.
It would burn so bad. Some herbal preparations included laxatives, such as senna, or diuretics to give the compound some obvious physical effects.
Okay.
So the intense case of the poops and the peas means it's working.
It's working!
Yay! Here's a bunch of alcohol and something that's going to make you poop. So you can say, oh, this is obviously working. I'm having a physical effect.
That sounds like a massive recipe for dehydration.
Yeah, there was so much alcohol everywhere. I'm pretty sure there was an entire generation upon generation of dehydration being a problem.
Yeah.
Like, oh, don't drink the water. Drink this cure-all. That's actually uranium. Bad all around.
Yeah.
Patent medicines were supposedly able to cure just about everything. Nostrums were openly sold to cure or prevent venereal diseases, tuberculosis, and cancer. Bonoro's electric magnetic bathing fluid claimed to cure cholera, neuralgia, epilepsy, scarlet fever, necrosis, mercurial eruptions, which was another fancy name for venereal disease, hip dysplasia, chronic abscesses, and female complaints.
Oh.
Which is period cramps.
Yeah, that would have to be.
Yeah. William Radham's Microbe Killer, a product sold widely on both sides of the Atlantic in the late 1890s, early 1900s, had the bold claim cures all diseases, prominently embossed on the front of the bottle.
All diseases.
All
of them.
All of them.
Wow.
Every disease will be cured by this microbe killer.
That feels reliable.
I feel like it was just bleach. Because he's not wrong. It will cure all diseases, but by killing you.
Well, but yes and no, because that'll only cure all, like, living organisms, like bacteria or viruses. If you've got something genetic, it's not going to help you.
Okay, right, but they didn't know about genetic diseases back then.
I know they didn't, but I'm just saying, you can't say all.
Okay, well, he said all.
He's a liar.
He's a liar. He's probably part of Mr. Snailsman's traveling circus of...
Strategic marketing
force. Ebenezer Silby, or Dr. Silby.
Wait.
I love these names.
It's another
a different
Ebenezer?
Two
Ebenezers
in the same episode. Apparently Ebenezer was a very much more popular name back then.
That's why we don't use it now.
No, we really don't. Ebenezer. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's been tainted. Look at my little baby. What's his name? Ebenezer.
We call him Neezy.
We call him Neezy. We call him Eben. Nezer. No, this none of that is good. You are gonna get a child beat up at kindergarten. Oh, that's so not little Neezy.
You're welcome.
Okay. So, Mr. Neezy, or Dr. Neezy Silby, in the late 18th and early 19th century Britain, went so far as to advertise that his solar tincture was able to restore life in the event of sudden death.
It was a resurrection?
It was a resurrection!
Was it like a cream? What's a tincture? Is that like a cream?
No, a tincture is something you drink.
You drink it. So, it's Princess Bride.
It's Princess Bride. Drink. Yes. Yes. It's like they wrap it in chocolate to make the medicine go down, but no. It claimed to bring somebody back in the event of sudden death. So there was somebody in the audience that went, "Oh God, I've died." And then he went out there like, "Oh, here's my magical tincture," and they're like, "Oh, I'm cured."
Okay, but where are the red flags going off? Like, sudden death, but also it happens to happen right now?
Like, "Oh, we've brought in Mr. Belfray. Mr. Belfray died 17 days ago. Sorry, not sudden enough. It's a little bit past the sudden realm. I need right now sudden, or it's not happening."
Yeah. Wow.
No.
Wow. That one's so easily disproven. Like,
yes. So this is kind of the way how they got around it.
Okay.
Every manufacturer published these long lists of testimonials to describe their product, curing all sorts of human ailments. But fortunately for both the makers and the users, the illnesses they claimed they cured were most invariably self-diagnosed. So you were thinking, okay, I have this really bad cough. It must be tuberculosis. Or I have this incredible headache pain. I must have cancer or whatever. These weren't people that were either had access to professional medical attention, or they just kind of assumed, like, "Oh, well, that guy died from a cough. I bet I have that cough. What was that cough called? Tuberculosis? Oh, that's what I have." When really what you have is seasonal allergies.
So basically it was the Google diagnosis before
It was
Google.
The WebMD of its time. It's always cancer.
It's always cancer.
It's always cancer. You're always going to die. Or tuberculosis, which
Okay.
back then was called consumption.
Yes, it was.
But yes.
I knew that.
Yes. So here's the one that really struck out to me, and I kind of mentioned it earlier.
I'm cringing. Okay, let's do it.
It's kind of cringy.
I'm cringing.
One really dangerous patent medicine was known as Mrs. Winslow's Soothing Syrup.
Oh, God, it sounds, soothing.
Uh-huh.
It's so innocuous.
It is. It was created in 1849, and it contained morphine and alcohol, and it was recommended to take in high doses.
Holy crap.
Yep.
High-dose morphine?
High dose morphine
deadly.
and alcohol.
That's
together.
Like angel of death?
Yeah.
So
Charlotte N. Winslow was a pediatric nurse. And she originally created Mrs. Winslow's Soothing Syrup as a cure-all for fussy babies.
For babies?
Babies.
Oh, God.
The syrup was first produced in 1849 by her son-in-law, Jeremiah Curtis, and his partner, Benjamin Perkins, in Bangor, Maine. It's widely marketed in North America and the United Kingdom. Sounds fancy? No. no, no.